Hello everyone, it's Jessica with Daisy Doodle Paper Arts. Thanks for joining me today. In this video I'm exploring the color Fresh Fig from Stampin Up. It's a deep burgundy color, and I want to do a color wash, show you how to do a color wash. It's such a dark, deep color that it's just very, very beautiful. At first glance, Fresh Fig is a masculine color. It stamps out kind of this brownish, but as you can see, if you do a gradient wash using white, you get this gorgeous gradient color effect that I just love, okay? And so in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that color wash. There's the ink pad. And oops, this doesn't really stamp out this color, at least in my opinion it doesn't. I've got my color swatch paper here. This is Fresh Fig, and it pairs well with Berry Burst. I think it looks great with Powder Pink as well, and Tranquil Tide. Those are three, actually the end colors is what it looks good with. So I know it looks good with those. Got a few projects here. This is the little flower that I made, and I actually used the Stampin Up grid paper. You can probably see. Instead of throwing that paper away, I decided to use it and do a color wash on it and punch these petals out and make it into a grungy type flower. I love that. And I used the Blossom Petals paper punch, which is retired. It's a really nice paper punch though. Yeah, you could probably find it on eBay. Here's a 5x7 card that I made. I took the Positively Chevron background stamp and stamped the card. I've got the Fresh Fig ribbon here, some corrugated craft paper, and I used the Pretty Label punch here on this card. And actually, I don't think you can see it on the camera, but you can take a 1/2 inch strip of paper and stamp your sentiment and put it into that punch and get like a little word window punch. It's really nice. Here's another card that I made. Oops, my little bow fell off. We've got the Pretty Pine Thinlits here, and some inking techniques using stencils, so I'll show you a few of those as well. I've got a burlap stencil here, and this is on, you just take a little ink sponge in your stencil. I'll put this one on powder pink and this one on white cardstock. So after I stenciled the image, I went in and inked the whole paper. I'll probably do a video on stenciling techniques or these inking techniques, but I haven't done one yet. I think this one looks great. This is a wood grain stencil. And again, this is white cardstock. Just take the ink sponge and stencil it all in, and then go back and ink the edges up to get this effect. Here's just a stencil, like a splatter stencil. We've got the Harlequin, and this is a powder pink cardstock that I put that on, and then you just go in and ink the edges. And then we got the burst, the ray burst here. Now these aren't Stampin' Up stencils that I use, but they do have stencils, and I do own them also. They're nice. We've got a brick pattern, and they're also very inexpensive, just $6 for 4 stencils, so that's actually an excellent price. I've got some flowers here. This is Rose Rhapsody, and I've got, I stamped, this is 2-step stamping. I stamped powder pink first, and then the fresh fig on top of it to get this two-tone effect, and that's Tranquil Tide for the stems. And that's all the projects that I have to show you today before we get into our gradient wash. So, like I said, I've actually used the grid paper. I was going to go throw this out because it had ink on it, and I really liked the grid pattern, and I thought that I would just do a gradient wash on it and either make some flowers or a card with it. And so here's the projects that I made using the Stampin' Up grid paper. Normally I do this technique beside my sink so I can use the water as I'm doing it, but I'm using a little piece of paper here, so I think I can do it here at my desk. You're going to need some water. Actually, I would get a lot of water, a big bowl. You need some, either the Whisper White ink or some white paint. You need the Fresh Fig re-inker. You need a piece of paper. You need your paintbrush, a towel, and one of these little paint palettes, which I got from Dollar Tree. 6 for $1. You can use this mini mister if you want. And I like to do it on this Tim Holtz stamping platform, because I can just take this and run it under the water and clean it up pretty quick. When you're doing this technique, you want to get a medium toned color. You'll add a little bit of the white paint. You want to water it down to get it thinner. I'm going to add 2 drops of the color to this. And your results will vary each time. It's hard to duplicate it exactly, but it'll always be beautiful. Okay, I think that's good. I'm just going to dip this in water to get it wet so that it's, goes on better. And you start in the middle, and we'll just work our way up, kind of get some of this paint off of the brush. Okay, and that's step one. And once you've got this base color laid down, you want to let this piece dry. You could take your heat tool and do it that way, or you can wait. Probably takes about 30 minutes to dry. And then after it's dried, we'll come back and add a darker layer to it. The piece of paper is dry now, so we're ready to add some darker color to it. Just take a drop or two. Now you kind of get the hang of this as you go along, and so, you know, this graph paper is a good place to start because you're going to throw it away anyway. And I just love the kind of background effect it gives these flowers. So this is a good paper to practice on. Now it isn't watercolor paper, obviously, but you can, if you wanted this to be flatter, you just run it through your Big Shot as you would like an embossing folder, just with nothing on it. Okay, so add just a little bit of water. We're just playing with it. Okay, now I'm going to take all the paint off and just get it kind of wet and keep brushing down the page. Okay, if you want to keep playing with it, you can go back and make it just a little bit darker at the very top. If you do it this way, just make sure you've got the paper cut down to what size you need. Otherwise it'll be cut off when you go to trim it down. Okay. And if you want, after it's dry, you can just take a sponge and ink the edges up. Trying to find my little card piece here to show you. This one is already dried. You can see that it's rolled the edges up. Once this dries, it's going to roll up too, but this is not cut down to size. I've already stamped on this one and roughened the edges up and put it down on some basic gray cardstock here. I took the watercolor word stamp set and used white embossing powder. And the white embossing powder looks excellent. It just looks so good on this paper. And this little stamp, this little line, wavy line stamp, is actually one of the cheap China stamps. So I've got the watercolor words, and this is just these words. They really look great. And then I've got these, which I picked up off of AliExpress. I think they were $4. But you get all of these, and I really wanted to be able to have some sort of like sewn look on the border, and that's why I bought these. And if I can, I'll put a link to this stamp set also. Okay, so I hope you like this technique, and I hope this inspires you. I didn't want to make a super long video and go in through the embossing process, but that's what I did here, and it does look really good. Until next time, if you like this video, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and have a great day.